Ever.
If she says verse again, I'm going to run out there and hit her with a soda ball.
Good morning and welcome to our final eights. The Dorsey family and Diamond Billiards presents the 2017 American Straight Pool Championships. We're also brought to you by Ivan Lee, Simona Club, and Airman Balls. Community Chalk. And our cue sponsor is Lacoste Cue and Case, and our clothing is Lights Out Billiards Apparel. Our first opponent is no stranger to this table, to this game. He is from Florida, originally from Germany. His sponsors include Kamui and Cyclop Balls. Let's put our hands together for Thorsten Hitman Hohmann. His opponent was our #1 seed into our final 24. He is originally from Canada, originally from the Philippines and Canada.
And migrate to US.
And migrated to the US. He's sponsored by Lionize Your Game, Carmelli, Ariar Carmelli Cues, and they spot billiard. Let's put our hands together for Alex the Lion Pagalyan. Gentlemen, you may lag for break.
All right, good morning out there. This is Andy Lincoln bringing the commentary with Mr. Michael Frank. High-powered matchup to start your day off. Thorsten Hohmann, Alex Pagalyan. Should be a fun one, Mike.
Yes, this match and the matches following it, no matter what the outcome of this match is, are all just going to be tremendous matches. I don't think in all the years I've been watching pool I've seen such a strong field as the one that was here, and now what it's narrowed down to are really a handful of just terrific players.
And it really did take quite a while to shake this field of 48 down to these final 8 as we watch Alex tee up his safety break shot.
So Alex was first in his bracket, which is how he ended up the #1 seed here. Well,
This is 125.
the interesting thing about the players that remain is any miss by the other player could be fatal.
Right. That's actually an illegal break as well as a foul, right?
Yes.
-2 because they didn't reach the rail.
It's a minus.
And it will count as a foul towards.
Well, is it -2 even if they don't re-rack? If he decides to shoot,
Yeah, it's always -2.
it's always -2.
It's just the person has the option to make you go there. So
Well,
we will, verify the score when we get out there.
Sure.
But 2 balls did not hit a rail. So I believe it's -2, and the scratch, because it's an actual foul as well as the illegal break, Alex would be on 1. Would be my best assessment there.
Well, to give you some idea of how important the -2 rule is, Rodney Morris was playing Jason Shaw yesterday and started off with an illegal break. Ended up at 123, and Jason Shaw ran out. So had he had those 2 points, he would have won the game. Rodney Morris would have. Instead, Jason ran out. That was the end of it.
That's a nice shot. He's got this 10 ball, looks like. Probably move a couple balls. He could also elect to just come down and maybe play the 6 and break them out instead. Couple good options here. Because he is a little bit straight. All right, so he's going to come up. Okay, I think he came up a little further on that 6 than he wanted.
I wonder if he wasn't trying to
It does look like that
get
ball
to that,
maybe,
whatever that's a 10 ball.
Yeah, I saw him kind of nod his head in
Yeah, it looks like he was
the
trying
oops motion.
to
Oops,
get to
I
the
rolled
10
an
ball.
inch too far.
I do think you'll see a lot of aggressive play, and here's a good example of it. He's going to back cut a pretty tough shot and try to keep going. Pocket it, and he's on his way.
Hit the center of the pocket.
Sure did. I mean,
That's an aggressive shot in most cases.
Yes, it is.
Didn't really look like any aggression. He just sort of calmly cut it in. And,
Yes.
And still got couple problem areas, but he's got a few balls to work with to
exactly
solve it.
Well, that's the advantage these really good or great players have, which is they can shoot the right shot. Most of us would have had to take one of the two easier balls that was loose at the bottom of the rack there, and he didn't hesitate in what he was shooting.
Take care of this 5 ball up at the top, likely.
So Thorsten Hohmann, no stranger to the finals or being in the final events. He finished second this year in the world 14.1 just a few weeks ago.
That was just to whet his appetite.
Yes, he came to win this one.
So I think.
And from here, almost all the players are headed to the U.S. Open 9-ball tournament. So it's almost a month solid of some great.
Good morning, Peter. Say hello to the internet.
Good morning. Good morning.
It's Peter Burrows, our
Tournament founder.
tireless promoter and founder.
Yes.
Thorsten did.
Alex scratched.
Alex scratched
On the break.
On the break.
And
Hey, Mr. Rules Guy. If you
Thorsten was
have an
running.
illegal break and you don't drive 2 balls to the rail, and you scratch in the corner, it's -2, and now you're on a foul, right?
Yeah, now you're on
But it's the player option, right? Because of the -2. So Thorsten opted to shoot.
He had his
He's
shot.
off and running.
Yeah.
I think we probably got it right.
He had a very makeable shot, so he.
Well, thanks to all the viewers for tuning in and watching. This is the first of many great matches today, for sure.
Yeah, we'll have 4 rounds today. We're in the quarterfinals, so there's 4 matches going on right now. Then we will stagger the semis for your viewing pleasure. So you'll get to see both semifinals, and then of course the final on the schedule, the loose schedule, being around 7 o'clock is the intent. We'll see how the matches go. If there are any safety battle matches, 2 hours may be a little tight.
So it's interesting. You saw Thorsten pick up the ball and clean it. Of course, he has to ask Alex first, which he did. And the reason I heard was that there's a lot of different chalks being used. And if some of the residue gets on the table, that the cue ball skids. So or on the cue ball. So they always want to make sure it's clean.
And straight pool's always sort of been known as a gentleman's game. These 2 particular players have probably played each other umpteen times. Have great respect for each other's games. And Alex probably didn't even think twice. He's like, yeah, sure.
Oh, sure.
Like,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Really, we don't have a presiding referee, so we probably will for the finals. But certainly a referee could do that to make sure. And Alex knew that Thorsten was intending to shoot the 1, and there wasn't really going to be any close critical placement of the cue ball after cleaning. So he's still got these balls on the bottom, right? Now the 2 goes. He may try to get an angle on this 9 so he can go into those 3. There we go. I'm watching the wrong monitor again. I got 1 on delay and 1 live. So here we go.
Yeah, so we have to have 2 monitors because one gives us the color So
Right.
we're watching two screens at the same time, and one is 15 seconds behind the other one.
We'll try to keep them straight. So.
And I think what Andy, what I wanted to add there was, in the absence of a referee, if there's a dispute at the table, the automatic winner of the dispute is the shooter.
Yeah, that's the way it's historically worked. Sort of the opponent's responsibility to call in a ref as needed on something close. Otherwise, it will go to the shooter ultimately. I haven't seen that become a problem in
No, and I've
several
seen
years of this particular level of play. Certainly at the amateur level, it might happen a little more often. So he's actually opted to play the 2 as his break shot. Perhaps the 15. So it's always fun to see these lesser used breaks. You do see this behind the stack quite a bit, but still, he's going to use the 15.
lesser use for you young folks.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
What do you think of that, Michael?
Yeah, I think that's why I don't like that break shot.
Well, there's a smaller
I think that's
position.
exactly the reason.
He spun it off the rail, but he really sort of spun it quite a bit. So by my count, we're at 14. There are 14 minus 2.
Yes, let me assure you, Thorsten is deeply disappointed at that outcome.
Yeah. But on the bright side, he hasn't actually given up the table. Had he left himself a 85-degree cut and went for it, could have been really bad.
So he doesn't have to touch anything because, if you recall, Alk is on a foul because when he made the opening break, his cue ball went into the pocket. So he not only lost 2 points, but he's on the first foul. So
Right.
Thorsten was able to not touch the rack and put Alk down table, which, because there's a ball behind the rack, it makes it difficult for Alk to come off the 2 rails and hit behind the rack, which is a very popular safety from where he is. So we'll see what he does here. He's probably going to have to thin something.
Yeah, and we're at the level in the tournament with the final 8 that don't be too surprised if Alex doesn't just go ahead and take the 3-ball fouls and re-rack them. He may try to thin it, and if he misses it, he wouldn't be too upset about completely missing it and then just take 3 fouls. He is checking to kind of make sure things are frozen. As long as things are frozen, you can use a lot less force, resulting in less risk.
He's going to go right into the center and hope something hits the rail. He won't hit it hard enough to pop balls out. But
He's been back and forth
No,
here. Now
he's-
this is interesting. He
There
feels
he
he's
goes.
accurate enough to hit this ball behind here, which he did.
oh, look at that shot.
And
What a great shot that was.
that was really quite a nice shot.
That was a great shot. I didn't even think of that.
Well,
That required so much finesse.
you saw how Thorsten put him in the middle of the table, up table. You want to take away the 1-rail kick to make it 2 rails, so it's a little less predictable. But Alex came with a beautiful
Sure did.
kick shot, got to a rail and everything. So they're both off their fouls. And despite these 2 high-powered players, they still understand the safety game can win and lose matches. So this will be kind of a treat, seeing a little safety play and seeing how the shot, eventually a shot arises, how it will develop.
Now, in the background, you see Alvin Ocean, who's another one of the quarterfinalists, and he is actually in a match against
He is playing Dennis Orcoyo.
Dennis Ocorio. So the winners of these 2 matches will advance.
I believe it. Not only advance, they play each other.
They play each other.
If-
That's
if,
right. You're right.
If I have it right. And
Yes.
on the other side of the chart, we have Brandon Schuff and Conrad Zuziston. Is as close as I'm going to get. And then on another diamond in the back, we have Warren Kiemko and Mr. Lee Van Corteza, who won the whole event up there in New York City last week at the World Tournament.
Right.
Conrad is actually undefeated, as is Alex, through both round robin and the first round. I think possibly Levan is also undefeated.
Yeah, and Conrad had a particularly strong game yesterday. John Smith was at 119, and Conrad was at 70 when Smith played a bad safety and Conrad ran out.
Yeah, there were a lot of tough games yesterday. I mean, you look at the tough field in general and you go, yeah, everybody can do it. But you know what? These 8 actually did do it, and consistently didn't let up a game, especially now that we're in single elimination.
Alvin Ocean, to win his game, his opponent was at 111. He was at 7, and he ran out. He ran 125-point game.
He ran 118 out.
118 and out.
Yeah, Alvin is really quite a smooth player, boy. If you get a chance to watch him, I don't actually expect he'll be on the stream next. Possibly he would be, but
so we have safety battle going on here.
Yeah, look at this one. Oh, that.
Took the foul. So far the pockets have been pretty big when Pagalyan has been trying to play safe near them.
Well, there were some nice safeties yesterday, thinning off the top and still getting to the end rail, which I just find remarkable. Alex was trying to just sort of hit one or the other of the points of those pockets, not sure which, but that's a difficult shot. You set it up at home or at your local pool room, and you'll find it's not as easy as you think. All right, and we do have some early scores. Warren Kiemko, who's got the first 2 racks, 28 over Lee Van Corteza, probably waiting his opportunity. Conrad Jujiston is up 23-5 on Brandon Schuff. And Orcuyo and Ocean have decided to play a safety battle on the left, and there is no score yet.
Really?
Yes. I haven't watched Dennis
as long
play.
as he's standing in front of us there.
I haven't watched Dennis play much, but yesterday he played Niels Fyan, and after 45 minutes, the score was, I think, 11-7 or something. It was another safety battle there. And you just saw that they all missed. Thorsten had a ball in hand there, and I mean, he had to sort of make something happen in the stack on his shot, so he gave himself a good angle, and he missed it. So Alex gets on the board.
The reason Thorsten's shot was so difficult wasn't that if he just had to make the ball, it was a hard shot, but he was really trying to pound into the rack from a big angle off the rail, which requires a lot of spin, and it really makes it difficult to pocket. So he has given up the table.
And that was a nice shot by Alex.
Yes, it was.
It looked calm and collected, but ended up quite effective, and a couple opportunities for shots, potentially even going back into them here.
I think we may see that, Andy.
And he's got the looks like maybe the 11 he could go. He could just play the 9 ball there first, or instead.
There's something he's looking at.
He doesn't really need to go into them. He does have the 8 on the other side.
I think he'll pull back a little and draw back a little and go in off the other ball. The ball beside this one. No, he came out. That's what he was looking at. He was looking to come out.
Well, I think the reason why is the 1 is a fairly nice break ball that's in the clear. The 8, while it's a break ball, is very helpful if you wanted to open up those last 5 balls.
So he wants to open up the remaining cluster from that side of it, so he doesn't move the break ball, this
Right.
potential break ball.
Which is what he just effectively did.
Yeah, that was it.
He even took a harder shot than the 8, took the 6, and moved them around.
Okay. Sorry. I thought that was the 8 actually. It was a 6 ball. That's what I meant.
We're going to start calling them solids and stripes soon here. They're all worth 1 point anyway. So now he's in the clear. He's got a couple balls on the rail. Not a huge concern, but perhaps make sure you get your path out there on the, probably clear the 11 before too long. So if you can develop a good opportunity to get on that 15, and maybe even saves up for the last shot. I don't know.
So I would have thought the 8 ball was his break ball.
No, I think he's going to use the 1. Use the 1 ball. I mean, it's a little bit high, but we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
I wonder if he'll run up into the 15.
Yeah, because he bumped that. I thought he was trying to bump it into a little bit better position. And the question I have is, since he's leaving the ball at the side pocket, which is the best place to have a key ball,
yeah,
I was wondering if he was leaving it there for insurance because he was going in the rack, and if the ball got stuck, he'd always have that one. But, so I guess we have to see how he's going to play his pattern out.
That was a nice position play to get on the 15. He didn't really. 15 was a little bit off the rail, so if you can get right in and on there straight, you don't really need to clear the 11 first. And so now let's take care of these last few balls and use either the 1 or the 7, or done predicting maybe. Certainly the 3 ball leads to the 7 a little better. The 1 is kind of by itself.
I've been playing pool for more than 50 years, and every time I watch one of these tournaments at this level, I always learn something new. And the shot before this, where he had the ball on the rail, the side rail by the corner, and I easily try to draw that ball and bump it out to play the next ball. But he actually uses 2 rails.
Yeah, as long as you're sure of it, it's actually a more predictable leave shot to just go forward than to draw back. And
all right, so he's just going to pretty much stop the cue ball here. Now, it is interesting because Alec is not the tallest player in the tournament. He will probably roll down a little bit above the side pocket to shoot so that he can fully reach. So so he's in a real good spot here to keep going.
I get that. You get the full rack.
Alex got all those. Michael, maybe you can duck your head out and take a look and see.
Make sure we're right on the score.
See if we're at 13.
Yeah.
For those of you watching live, yeah, we don't have score. We're in a little office so that we can't possibly distract the players, but it does mean we jump out to verify the score. Okay. Another nice break there by So yes, this is one of the 4 quarterfinals for those of you watching. You can occasionally see Dennis Orcolo and Alvin Ocean in the left table. They're in another quarterfinal. And then across the room on the other two diamond tables, Brandon Schuff versus Conrad Justin, and Warren Kempko and Lee Van Corteza. See the live view numbers growing here. This is Andy Lincoln with Michael Frank, bringing you this first Saturday morning match. First of 4 matches today. We will quarterfinals, and we will stagger the semifinals so that we can see both of them, and then play the finals around 7 tonight. So all matches to 150 balls. Well, with 10 and 11 balls on the table, still sort of have to develop a strategy. May not have an exact strategy, but you know, the three balls there in the middle, he's got that on his mind. He's got break balls on his mind.
Yes, he doesn't have one yet, does he? That I see.
The one is you know, a little far away to be a break ball and a little low.
I thought he was trying to tap that a little bit there. I thought he was trying to tap the one
Yeah.
a little bit forward there.
He's very likely to develop a break ball out of those 3 when he goes into the cluster. It's a delicate shot because there's not really an insurance ball, at least down in the lower 2 corner pockets. So he's really got to decide the best way to go into those 3.
Well, it appears that Dennis Orcolio and Alvin Ocean are no longer playing safety.
Yeah.
And Orcolio is shooting.
After the first
right.
after the first 15 minutes,
Yeah.
the match on the left was 0-0, or perhaps some safeties. Minus range. So you can see Alex really studying this table. He really wants to be sure what he's doing. It's also it's nice to have the matches back here together, but it does interrupt the flow a little bit as he's waiting on Dennis to shoot. So maybe next year we'll just stream every table. Lots of commentators.
Lots of commentary.
He'll go ahead and shoot the 6, and I don't know if he's going up into them now or he's behind. So this is what I was talking about. Now he can go in, if he goes very accurately, to the side of the 15, especially the side where the 5 is. He can nudge these and still have a ball in the side or the corner, or even the 1 ball. Do not hit the 15 straight.
Oh, I can't.
Yeah, there was a risk there.
I can't see if he can see the ball in the side pocket or not. If not, he's safe. He can bank this ball.
Just from his body demeanor,
yeah,
it feels like maybe he's
yeah.
behind the edge.
Yeah, he's definitely behind it.
So I can't tell.
He really has either a
He's
safety
gonna
or a
play
bank on the 1, and he's not going to shoot bank the 1. So he's played safe.
So it looks like
And it brings Thorsten back to the table.
Alex gets 7 there. And safety battles with sort of no pack of balls in the middle are interesting too, because there's not a lot of places to hide.
Yeah.
You can maybe leave long shots off the rails. You can try to leave combinations, although I think that 8-4 combination is perhaps makeable. You see Thorsten looking at it to decide whether going down table is safe. There's actually a spot right down there on the middle of the end rail where you could sort of leave nothing but combinations.
Well, he's going to try something that looks like fancy here.
Yeah, I'm not.
Exactly what he's doing. Something we're going to see the result of in a minute.
Oh, how do you like this?
Aha! So he got away with it.
That was very creative to even see that. He thinned the 15, went to the rail to get his rail, and then squeezed back in on the 4-8. And he might be so cozied up to the 8 that Alex doesn't have the 13 up in the corner. Although he looks like he's all ready to shoot. So maybe the 13, yeah. Looks like
No, he
the
does
13
have a
goes.
shot, actually.
So as creative as a shot that was,
yeah,
it needed another quarter inch of accuracy.
Yeah, I really think, not that I should be commenting on Thorsten's game, but he could have taken the first foul. Eventually he's going to have to shoot anyway. So if he takes the first foul, and then now, if they go back and forth on fouls, at least when he shoots, the other person's on 2 fouls.
Yeah.
So this way he just sort of tries to play an extraordinarily difficult safety, which probably had a pretty low percentage of working out, and turns the table back over to Mr. Pagalyan, and you don't want to do that.
We got pairs of 2 balls here. Not sure if he's going to try to leave the 8 for a break shot. We'll see what he does here. We started, when did we start? Tuesday? Tuesday around noon.
We did.
48 players. You had 8 groups of 6 players, round robin. And you played all 5 players in your flight. That wrapped up last night around 6 o'clock. And we took the top 3 in each of the 8 groups and put those 24 players on a single elimination chart, giving the group winners a bye into the final 16. And then we went ahead and played 2 of those rounds last night, leaving us with 8 players today. And after that round robin concluded, Alex was the number 1 seed, had not lost, and due to point differential, guess he was very effective in his wins.
Yes.
And took the number 1 seed. Thorsten did drop a match early, but came right on back and was playing very well in his other matches, running lots and lots of balls. 80 ball runs a couple or 3 times.
So as many players has commented throughout the tournament, the diamond tables are more difficult to play on in straight pool. So all of these matches for today will be on the diamond tables. Now, having said that, Jason Shaw ran 100, somewhere between 110 and 115 yesterday in his match on this table. And there's been a few 100-ball runs on this table, so we will see. Mr. Pagalyan 25, Thorsten 13. pretty good break shot here. So what is he thinking about as he shoots this shot in?
Well, my guess is he'll be going into the top stripe ball there. Not going to try to go through the rack. Going to try to come off. Did follow it even going into the top. Followed it. Didn't really come out great. I mean, the ball's spread, but it's the first shot that's the concern, right? He's got perhaps a ball in the upper left corner. He's got a jacked up shot in the upper right corner. Don't think he can cut this ball into the left down low here. The 10 ball, it's possible he could cut that ball at high speed.
I think you're right. I don't think he was playing for I think a ball hit the cue ball and made it roll forward.
Is that why it came forward?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right in the way you said he was going to play the shot for sure. He was just trying to go into him and open him up. And in that case, he'd have been in sort of a much better spot. But a ball came out of the rack and pushed the cue forward. So he's got a pretty tough shot here. He is going to play it, but he's got a pretty tough shot.
Huh?
Yeah, he's I think it,
carefully weighing his options.
yes,
there, right?
and I think at this level, either playing the safety or playing the shot, they're going to play the shot because they want to take no chance on giving back the table to their opponent. So I do think he's going to shoot something.
It looks like he's still got a little bit of an uncomfortable bridge to play this ball in the upper left because that 10 is kind of slightly in the way. Okay, he might back cut it to the right.
Yeah, I think that's what he's doing. And I think
just so that he can cue with a level stroke.
I think he's really going to make this ball. I just don't think it's for him.
Yeah, he made a couple there.
Yeah, terrifically difficult shot.
Made a couple balls there.
Where he had his hand placement would made it difficult, but the shot for him was probably not very hard at all. So Alec is really a fan favorite because he's a very animated player, and whether he's winning or losing, he really has a lot of personality at the table. So,
yeah, he hasn't quite woken up yet this morning.
yeah,
And perhaps the importance
true.
of the match
yeah.
and the respect that he has for Thorsten, he's probably not going to be cracking jokes like his usual self.
I take it somewhat more seriously.
Well, he seems a little bit unsure there. Is he trying to play for the 1? Maybe he's a little straighter than he wanted to be.
Well, he may try to go into the rack here because he doesn't have too many other.
See, I like getting this 10 out of here, going around on the 3, and then coming back for the 6 to break them out.
That does make the most sense, which is probably exactly what he's going to do.
Yeah, I believe he can. He might even go all the way to the end rail in the process.
So the theory that in straight pool people are shooting any ball they want is really very far from what's actually happening at the table.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking for balls always, in the case where he has clusters, to set him up for playing the cluster.
With 4 shots there, he basically set himself up for the 6 to break them out. Okay. Michael, I'm going to step out.
Leave me by myself with all these fans. All right. So, Mr. Pagalyan is checking the rack. And he did punch through the rack, so he has a few choices. You good? So he may have to go over to the cluster, which he did very nicely. Now the balls are open, and I think he has a long straight-in shot in the corner. Now he, oh, inside, okay. So now he will come around, play the ball that's inside the rack circle, and use that as a key ball to get on his break shot, which will be the 9 ball. So he will pocket the 1 and pull down toward the side pocket, pull the cue ball down toward the side pocket to get an angle on the 9 ball for his break shot. And there he has it. So that gives Mr. Pagalyan 39 points. 39-13. In a 150-point match. Does very well. Cue ball did exactly what he wanted, and he has a number of shots. So he will be focused on the cluster in the center of the table and breaking open those balls as soon as he can. I'm relatively certain he already has a plan to do that, and I just don't know what it is. Score's right. All right, the balls are open. No real problems that I'm aware of. At some point, he will have to get the ball off the long rail at the top of the table, but
like the 2 ball is just outside of the top of the rack, so that's perfectly workable Break shot.
So optimally, what every player is at this level is looking for is getting into a position where they can pocket the remaining balls with very little movement of the cue ball, or as little movement as possible.
Yeah, especially on the last shot. You're always looking for a key ball, and while there isn't the the obvious key ball here, there are plenty of balls close. With the right position play, accurate position play, you will likely be able to get on your break shot without too much effort. Obviously, the two balls up there at the top, the 7 and the 9, he's not concerned about them. I'm not sure he's leaving the 9 for his key ball. Oh, while Alex is waiting, I think I have some updates. Kemko is now up 70-0 over Lee Van Corteza, likely just running all 5 racks. Conrad Jujison is up 56-27 on Brandon Schuff, and Conrad is at the table. And Orkoyo is up 25 to -1 on Alvin Ocean, and as you can see, he is also at the table. So apparently Dennis is going to shoot every single shot in his match from this side of the table.
Yeah, it looks like, yeah.
His pocket is apparently at the upper, is the right. There we go.
So he may move the ball next to the ball he's shooting out just a little bit to give him a little bit better break shot.
Yeah, a lot of people like having a little more distance. Not a ton of distance where you're all the way towards the rail, but that just feels a little more comfortable. It's a little easier to see the shot without the stack in the background.
And if they get the angle they want, they can hit. It gives them a little more. It gives the cue ball a little more velocity off the object ball into the rack if it's a little further away from the rack. So at this point, he's really got a fairly easy few balls up here, and I don't know whether he'll play position off the 7 ball or use the 7 or the 9 for his key ball.
Yeah, the 9 is wouldn't be my favorite key ball just because it's on the rail. If he had a nice shot to get in there accurately, it'd be okay. But
yeah, I think he's going to play. I think he's going to use the 7.
He could use the 7 and go 2 rails and stay on the line of the shot a little longer.
I think so. He's not going to get out of line, and he doesn't have to worry about really. If he uses the 9 as a key ball, he has to get perfect position on it to use it as a key ball, whereas the 7, he's got a pretty good margin of error, but he may not use either.
Well, it looked like he was going to take away both of them, and now he's not so sure with that angle on the 9.
Yeah, I think he's going to clear it. That may have been what he wanted, but he's not going to get it.
Yeah, I mean, as long as he can, keep himself from getting frustrated like that, he seems to be scratching his head. He's supposed to get out no matter how he plays it. But you can tell he's trying to figure out what his best options are for getting on the best break shot.
So he's going to use it. The 9 is key. Well, maybe not. So he's going to play the 9 now.
We got to watch the right Watch right
Yeah,
monitor
play the
again.
9, and then he's going to use the 2 and the.
Yeah, you know what? Completely overlooked how easy this will be playing off the 10 or 12, just one rail out to the middle of the table.
There it goes. You're right. All right. So. Interesting. Very interesting. So he, at this point, is he had a pretty nice little groove. Scores 53-13. He leads by 40 balls in a 150-point match.
And more importantly, at the table with an identical break shot, I think, from his last rack.
Yes.
Now he's a little lower on the rack, I guess, than last time, so you can expect him to probably come on down.
Couldn't fit that any better.
And that is just, I might even run this rack
Yeah, I
out.
mean, he hit that just absolutely perfectly.
Well, I'll just say there really are no problems other than managing the table. Just manage the table. He's got 7 ball for a beautiful break shot. He's got the 9 as a key. He's got the, whatever he likes to get on the 9, perhaps the 11. Okay, well, of course the 9 is his first shot, so.
There goes the 9, yeah.
Okay, the 1 and the 5 doubled up on the rail. He's going to go ahead and open that up. Kind of cut that a little close there. Could have stuck on the wrong edge of that 12 ball and been in trouble, but I think he's fine. Just kind of opening up pockets here. Probably had just half a pocket on that shot. Seemed to take his time on it. Tell you what, I really,
That was a very good
really like that shot.
Yes.
Got on the 5, and bumped the 15 for a nice key ball. In general, you don't bump a lot. You're trying not to bump balls once you have an open table. But when it's very predictable like that, you can even improve your already good situation into a almost ideal situation.
So, well, he may get rid of those 2 balls at the top of the table.
Yeah, they, for the most part, don't really seem to be part of the plan here, but
Here we go.
Nice shot there to not lose that cue ball, shooting the ball off the rail. Now you can see why he took that shot. Now he's got a couple of just about stop shots here. That was another nice shot. Stun forward a little bit. And perfect ending. Perfect ending. He's on a... How many racks does he run? Perhaps 3?
He's...
I think it was 13 to 11.
I think it was 13 to... I think you're right. I do.
So, perhaps that's the 4th rack. Because that gets you to 67.
He's at 67 now.
Yeah, so I think he's on a 56 ball run.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I'm not sure if there's a couple more from the previous rack, but I think... Yeah, I think he had 7. Might be on 63 right. I think he split one of the racks 7-7. Got all 14, but he played safe in between, and Thorsten made the mistake. I think Thorsten's mistake when he didn't quite cozy up to the 8 and the 4 correctly was Thorsten's last turn at the table here.
So the mistake was made on a safety, and it's been very costly.
Yeah, it's been, I think, well, 63 or some balls later. Seems to like following his break shots. So we'll see if tries anything different on this. Okay. Just slightly more work to be done this rack, but again, just a spread of balls.
Yeah, he's
off and running. He's feeling good.
Right, he's playing exceptionally well, and the balls are rolling about as good as they can roll when he breaks them open.
He can go right into him now off this 13. I mean,
Right.
You don't really need to, but having 2 insurance shots and everything, you know, with the 12 and the 9, why not? So now we'll see the phase of clearing the pockets a little bit. Probably get the 9 and probably get the 12 for long.
Yeah, I really don't see him having any problems here myself. I mean,
No,
as good as he's playing, he's going to, he has a plan for how he's going to shoot those balls that are close together toward the bottom of the table around the rack. But I don't think he's going to have any problem at all.
Might be bumping the. There we go.
Make a little
So
break
the
shot.
5 was out of the rack, but barely even a chalk width. So he felt like he could very accurately go into it and nudge it, such that he didn't get stuck. He knew he was going to have the 12 and not push it all the way on top of the 10 ball. And he can play the 1 here as well if the 12 is perhaps straight. And now the 12 to clear that pocket, because potentially three balls or so might end up down in here. That's a nice shot right there, too. You see, 8 and the 10 were doubled up a little bit in the lower right. 10 does clear, so he had to do no effort whatsoever with the cue ball and give himself the 10 up in the upper right. Really not much to talk about in this rack. I mean, he's the odds-on favorite to get through this with a beautiful break shot at the end.
Yeah, he's going to keep going here.
This is the 2017 American 14.1 Straight Pool Championships, coming to you live from Midlothian, Virginia, just a western suburb of Richmond, at Diamond Billiards. Tournament's brought to you by Thomas Dorsey and the Dorsey family, the owners here at Diamond Billiards. Background there, you see a couple of Ivan Simonis cloth and Aramith cue ball posters, one of our long-time sponsors of this event. Since we started it back in as just the Maryland Straight Pool Tournament 13
years ago.
13 years ago.
No, exactly.
And the tournament's done nothing but get stronger every single year. This year is perhaps the strongest straight pool field that I've seen in the last 15 or 20 years, if not more. I haven't really watched back in the 80s and the 70s, but certainly in the last couple decades, as good a field as you're going to see in straight pool. Other sponsors are Lights Out Billiards Apparel. You see those everywhere you go to tournaments nowadays. Jake Lawson, quite the businessman. Kamui Tips, our colleague and your son, Darren Frank, Kamui representative. Alex playing very deliberate. Watched him all this weekend. Doesn't see. Looks like he's really set on winning this $10,000 first place prize. We paid the top 24, 17th through 24th, collected $650, basically doubling their entry fee of $325. 9 through 16, pocketed $900. We are determining 5th through 8th as we speak here. They will collect $1,500. 3rd and 4th will take $3,000 home. And in 2nd place, a healthy $6,000 with a winner taking $10,000. So the nice payout, courtesy of Diamond Billiards, Simonis Cloth, and our sponsors, and our dear promoter,
Peter yes. Our tireless promoter.
This is why the field is so strong, right?
This is why the field is so strong, and the fact that all of the money raised goes into the prize fund for the players.
Oh yeah, the entry fees on 48 players is less than $15,000.
Right.
And our total purse is about $40,000 to $41,000.
Right. So there's a lot of work being done because the people involved appreciate the game and trying to do what they can to help the players.
Alex almost got stuck here. It looks like we can get to the left. There. Now he's off and running yet again. Oh, I probably didn't update the score either. Or did no? Did they not update the score? No, I did not. 81.
Did we miss a rack?
I think I almost did.
Actually, in the Shaw Rodney Morris match,
Yes.
Shaw forgot to put his score up. Neither he nor Rodney were paying attention, and he ended up actually running 14 balls more than he needed to win the match.
Yeah, he won that match 139 to 123
Right.
in a
It is
125-point game.
It's the player's responsibility to keep a score, so there's no obligation to tell him. Now, I do believe Rodney would have told him if he was paying attention himself, but I don't think he was.
Either
And
wasn't,
the
but
fans-
I thought I saw them joking afterwards, and I think, oh, you won that last rack, you know that, right? I think he just let him go, but Rodney probably would have just, if Rodney known, he probably would have stood up, had Jason miss, and said, oh, well, you know you already won, right?
Yeah, I think it was.
Jason was just so fixated on running balls.
Yeah, right.
I think he was thinking, you know, if it's 90 or it's 105, does it really matter? I'm just going to run 100 and something.
I think that's
and
true.
win.
And these individuals travel with each other and compete against each other all the time, so they're really not going to do anything that antagonizes somebody to the point that, you know, the turnabout becomes fair play, and they're good sportsmen with each other.
In fact, if we have any sort of casual pool fans out there watching, the U.S. Open 9-ball championships is just an hour and change down the road starting tomorrow. And that certainly helps bring in some of the top players to our event as well, as I'd love to play the back-to-back tournaments, keep the expenses down, and have some high-level competition, get themselves focused for that tournament as well.
And this three events in a row, the World 14.1, our event, and the USA Open 9-ball are played over, what is it, about a 3.5 week period. So a lot of players can make all three, and the two straight pool tournaments are the only major straight pool tournaments that I'm aware of being played today in the
Right,
States.
there's a Derby City Challenge, which is very popular. It's not so much a tournament. That always has some very good players. It's generally small, but a lot of people can take the challenge at the high runs, and I think the 8 best play off. There's a developing tournament up in Connecticut at a room up there that is hasn't drawn huge fields yet, but I understand it's a beautiful room, so perhaps that will grow and give straight pool loving players a couple more options during the year. It's also the Gotham City, lots of tournaments in New York City and Brooklyn area. Gotham City also played right before our tournament. Some of the players came down from that. And certainly we have a very international field here, as well as, of course, the U.S. Open as they move on there. So having 2 and really 3 and 4 now, all in a 1-month period, it really helps out some of our overseas players, especially the European players. And well, we had 3 from Chinese Taipei as well. Gives them a lot of bang for their buck for their plane ticket ride over here. Lots of
I think
opportunities.
only in this field, I think only 18 players are U.S.
And the other 30 are.
The other 30 coming from all countries around the world.
Well, certainly if you look at the Philippine players, and I'm not saying they all travel from the Philippines, as they seem to be here as much as anywhere else. I think Alex lives in either California or maybe Canada. Thorsten's from Germany.
in
your
Jacksonville,
left,
though.
you got Dennis Orculo, who's been over here a while playing Alvin Ocean. Now, Alvin did come over from Austria, right? So
Yes.
the other side of the room, we have Konrad Justesen from
Poland.
Poland, one of the up-and-coming players. Well, maybe he's already come. One of the players from Poland. And you have Warren Kamko and Levan Corteza, two more Filipinos in the other corner. And then Brandon Schuff carrying the American flag today. Alex is wondering why he came up so short on this shot.
I'm trying to remember what our 13 years ago, what the first prize was. And I think it was 1,000 or 1,500. I don't think it was much more than that.
Yeah.
And
we'll put it this way: I used to cash back then.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't win the tournament,
exactly.
but I could make it to the final day. Now I fill in when necessary, and really only if necessary.
Yeah, exactly.
And now we got
The entry
we've come
fee
a long
has
way.
not been raised from those days, but the prize fund is going up tenfold. So I mean, the winner's share is going up from 1,000 to the winner to 10,000 to the winner.
Yeah, I think the prize fund was probably 4,000 or 5,000 tops back then.
Yes.
But you know that guy Peter Burrows, he had a vision 13 years ago.
He did.
And that prize fund has gone from about 4,000 or 5,000, you think, Peter, the first year at most, to
Yeah, that's what I thought it was. Yeah.
And here we are at 10,000 first. Oh, it was 500 first. The whole prize fund was about 1,000. And here we are. Not the best, but I was mentioning I could cash back then.
We were
Now I'm
relatively
scared to play.
competitive in that field.
Yeah.
And here we can't even hold the cue cases for these people.
So we've gone from a $1,000 prize fund to, well, we added about 40 to that, so we're now at about 41,000.
So,
Alex Pagalyan with another ridiculously tough break shot, exactly where he wants to be.
and the entry fee is still the same, right, Peter?
We've gone up a little bit. And Peter, Alex, we might have to get confirmation, but we think he started this run at 4 or 5 balls. He got 7 and then a few racks. So he is on about almost 90 ball run here, perhaps 91. Going to 150.
And the way Alex is pocketing balls and breaking into the racks, I really wouldn't be surprised if he runs out. He's just
Like that 15 was all lined up.
Yes.
Played a 3-ball combination.
The balls seem to be positioning themselves, and he keeps making them. Dangerous at the table at any time, but seems to be in good stroke here. Straight ball is a fascinating game because unlike 9-ball, where the players are up and down, you're always going to shoot at some point if you're an opponent. In this game, Thorsten Hohmann has almost been sitting for an hour and 20 minutes.
Thank you, Darren Frank. Got some score updates for you here. Warren Kamko was up 70-0 on Levan Corteza. Looks like Levan has got himself to the table, and he is now down 48-78. But as I said, Levan at the table means he's kind of winning the match. I mean, I don't know how else to put it.
Yes, and he won the 14.1 world title
just last week.
So he's coming to this tournament with a lot of confidence and playing that way too.
All right. And I can't say he's winning the match. He's down 30 balls, but he's at the table. He might be the favorite at this point.
Yes.
Konrad Justesen is at 99-54 over Brandon Schuff, and Konrad is at the table. And you may have noticed we have not seen Alvin Ocean on the left side of your screen much. It is 81-0. Dennis Orcoyo over there. Yesterday, though, as we had mentioned earlier, Alvin Ocean was down 111-7 and finally got his opportunity and ran 118 out. So no doubt Alvin is patiently waiting and will be ready to make a run should he get the shot.
Oh yes, he's an extraordinarily capable player. And he's the brother of his older sister, Jasmine Ocean, who there'd be little dispute is one of the greatest female players ever to play the game.
Yeah, well, Peter's been trying, I think, 2 or 3 years
to get
now
her, yes.
To get Jasmine over here, and perhaps she sent her brother Alvin out on, on
maybe
a little, tell me how that tournament is, and I'll come over, so we will bug him before he leaves for the umpteenth time to see if perhaps they'll both come next year.
And if my memory's right, Jasmine has finished as high as 4th in the men's open, 3rd. There, Andy got me covered there. She finished 3rd in the U.S. in the world tournament, and I think she was the only woman player. There may have been one more, but
yeah. But really, the big story that year, I think, is that one of the all-time greats, Oliver Ortman, fell to Jasmine, perhaps.
I think she had a 90-some ball run, if I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's just a terrific player. And so is Alvin. Runs in the family.
We won't say it's genetic.
I guess that's a pun.
But it feels like it should be. We won't discount genetics. We'll have to check with 23andme.com or something.
Well, I know they had. I know that she had a poker coach, and I assume that Alvin has the same coach.
There you go.
And the coach traveled with her, as I remember, which doesn't hurt. But there's, of course, a lot of natural ability involved in being able to play pool at that level.
Yeah, I think you need to be somewhat coachable to start.
Yeah, you got to have the talent. Yeah. You have to have the talent, you have to have the temperament, you have to be able to play under pressure. So it takes quite a few things to really get to this level of play.
And Alvin is certainly no stranger to pressure. Not sure I follow all of the World Pool, but I believe he won a very recent World Pool Championship.
Yes, he did. Yes, that's right.
I think beating Shane Van Boning. So that's kind of a big stage for pressure building.
Yes.
And if you watched the ever-exciting Moscone Cup last year, I think Alvin perhaps won the last game. They may have been up a little bit, but he was, I think, at the table when they garnered their final point for Team Europe.
Yes, and Shane has avoided playing in this tournament for, he's invited every year, but straight pool is not his forte.
Yeah, certainly had he come, he would do well because he's Shane. He's the best player in America.
Yeah. Best 9-ball player in America.
Yeah. Okay. So, but I have heard that with the U.S. Open just right after this event, that he feels like this isn't the best preparation for him, and he would rather focus on 9-ball this week, just practicing and being not sure how many times he's won the U.S. Open, but apparently he's got that figured out. So I think that's partly why he does not play this event.
Well, I heard an interesting explanation, and I don't know which one is right, but having just been defeated by Alvin Ocean, to come here and be beaten by some of these players is not not the kind of psychological edge he wants. He
Yeah.
doesn't want anybody to be thinking they can beat him on a regular basis.
With the kind of
And
success
since-
Shane has had,
yeah, since straight pull is not his game, and it's somewhat more complex than 9-ball, I think he could be avoiding the tournament for a lot of reasons. But he is a great player. So, I mean, I'm not taking anything away from that.
yeah, he just feels like it's not the best preparation for him, and it's quite likely true. So Alex is finally going to have a slightly different break shot. It seems like the last 4 break shots have been about the same. And that's a nice one. When you're so high up on the rack there, sometimes you want to be a little bit straighter. Now he can very comfortably go into those top 2 balls. So by my count, he is just clearing the ball one.
Wow.
Still going.
Yeah, I think the way it looks, he could easily close the match out here.
Well, it's just shy of 3 racks.
Very disappointed in Thorsten Hohmann for sure.
Yeah, you have to think a long way back to Alex. I believe at his first real turn at the table, got a little out of position. Very calmly said, "Well, you know, safety's the right move here. Play to safety. Just 7 or 8 balls on the table, and that's sometimes effective when you can freeze on a ball with 7 or 8 because the other player really just doesn't have a lot of opportunities to hide, you know." And Thorsten, you know, missed his safety by probably no more than 1/4 of an inch, and well, that was 100 and I think it was 104 balls ago, but give or take.
Yeah, 100. Yeah.
I think it was 105. I think he had 7, and then he's had 7 racks since. So here we go again. Probably come across the top of those balls and over to the left side rail. Should get a very nice spread. Not a huge spread, but
But he got a pretty good bump in the end, and yeah, and he's got
It was almost
another-
disastrous.
another open table, so it looks like he's going to keep going here. He does have a pretty bunch cluster that he's going to have to open and get some shots out of, but he has quite a few nice balls to be able to go into that cluster without much worry. So he may do that sooner rather than later.
Yeah, the decision here is, you
Does
know,
he draw back and
you
break
can
them up?
certainly use this
12.
maybe 12 or 14 on the right side, but I wonder if he will clear some other balls first. That's kind of the question. Looks like it's time.
We answered the question here.
There's your answer.
He'll be shooting the 14 ball.
And go right on into the 1 and the 2 and the 4. And, you know, certainly going to spread wide open.
Yes, and he has to hit harder because he doesn't have an insurance ball, which means unless he gets another shot after the break, he doesn't have a ball that he would automatically be able to shoot if he got tied up after the break.
Yeah.
So, so
He's in good shape.
that's the way it came out. He's not in love with the way it ended for him, but he has a few shots here that he's.
It's not a run-ending shot. Certainly,
yeah,
which is the best thing.
He can certainly
He is here to work.
play the combination.
Doesn't want to. It would be a little bit boring if everything was just obvious, right?
Yes. So there you slid his
Clear
ball
some
by.
pockets. It's really not that bad. It's got the 5 ball over there on the left as a break shot. Potentially other things will develop as well. It's kind of got the 7 and the 9 down here in the lower left. something will happen there. Probably nudge some balls. We'll play a combination.
Oh, and there you go.
Well,
There you go.
I don't know about you all watching.
Sort of
but
jumped up a little early to watch where the ball was going and took his eye off it for a second, and that's the result. So
just
So one of the things that makes this game so incredibly difficult is Thorsten Hohmann has been in his chair for an hour and 35 minutes just about. So he has to come up here and fire back. Just to be even, he has to run 100, almost 100 balls. 96.
looks like Alex got 4 balls there. Boy, that feels like a slap in the face, you know?
Oh, I was really feeling like he was going to go out from there.
You're just watching the match, and you're just watching ball after ball with no issues, and then suddenly
A relatively easy shot.
Nothing
Right.
concerning
Right.
on an open table. Just
And it's
no telling what caused it, right?
It's not necessarily the hardest shot that they miss. It's one they take for granted, and you just, you're thinking about something else, or you're thinking about the positioning, or you want to see where the cue ball is going. You just take your eye off for a second, or move a little bit, and then the ball hangs. So Thorsten appears already in trouble after one shot.
He's got a 3-ball.
Oh, I forgot. I can't say.
Yeah, I was
didn't see
thinking
that
he
in the
was setting
pocket.
up on these other 2 balls, but probably wants to open his pocket up, even though the 3 was fine no matter what. So that 7-9 will likely set that up as a combination.
And I think if the players voted that Thorsten would have to be at the top, if not pretty near the top, for likely to have a high run in a long game.
Yeah, well, sit back. This is by no means over.
No, he's surely run. In one of our tournaments, it was a tournament where Thorsten finished second to John Smith in the finals, but the 4 games prior to the finals, Thorsten ran 110 balls or more in each of those games.
Yeah. Watching Dennis Orcolio on the left, and he just joined us. He is not practicing. He is in a match with Alvin Ocean. We haven't seen much of Alvin for the last
We have
hour.
not, yeah. So, do you know the score of that game?
The score as of 20 minutes ago is 81-0.
Let me check it.
Dennis. Oh, right. You can get it out here.
If I'm not mistaken, he's in the
Master Coyo up 100 and change to 0. 104 or 109 maybe.
Assuming he finishes the 5 balls on the table, it'll be 114 to 0.
Thorsten had ended up on the rail there and a little bit straight.
Well,
you could see he was a little annoyed with it, and now you can see why. I mean, his percentages are coming out, in great shape there. Were a little lower. You can see he actually thinned the 9 ball on the after making the 8, kind of rolled back into the mess, and he's really in a bad spot.
Yes.
This is not how you start your 100-ball run.
No, it's not.
No, if he sinks this 9-11 combination, we can reassess.
Yeah, he's very frustrated, although he doesn't show much emotion at any time.
He's shaking his head a little bit.
It's pretty clear he's upset. Yeah. So we'll see.
And like we had said earlier, when there's less than 8 balls on the table, there's not a lot of places to hide your cue ball. So I don't believe he plays safe here. I believe he would eventually play this combination if he doesn't like the 15.
Unless he takes a foul by pushing the cue ball on the 5, I don't see where he has any safe. And if he does that, he's going to be the first one to have to shoot away anyway. So he may as well shoot now. I guess this is off angle.
It's only a little. I mean, as far as combination goes, it's not that bad, perhaps, but it's just frustrating when you need to get a run going.
If the score was reversed, it wouldn't be that bad.
Sure, it's a hanger. It's a hanger when you're up 100 balls.
Yeah, exactly. When you're behind 100 balls, it looks a little harder. Wow.
You may even hear a little clapping in the background from the audience watching the match live.
That was a pretty nice shot under pressure.
A very, very clutch shot. Okay, he may opt for a sideball break shot or perhaps just a longer shot on the 15. A longer shot on the 15. He probably chose that because he can be very accurate here, setting himself up on the table. So I think that was 10 to 4.
Yeah.
13 to 20.
Okay. So Thorsten's closed the gap by about 6 balls.
That's exactly right. Are you a math professor, Mr. Frank? Oh, he's only down 90 balls.
Yeah, exactly. He's down 96 before the rack started.
6.5 racks.
So here he goes. And Thorsten generally goes through the racks the open break shots pretty solidly. I mean, he hit that
was
one.
A nice break.
He did.
He hit it all that hard.
Yeah, it was a very nice break.
And if you watched Thorsten before, maybe it's just because he was playing me, but I mean, he likes to hit that ball firm.
Yeah, so he does. I don't think he had quite the angle of that. It was a little bit.
Well,
it was a little high on the rack for him.
And he was back cutting the balls.
Yeah.
Just because he has a power game doesn't mean.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean he doesn't think about this carefully.
Yeah, right. Yes. Or that he somehow lacks finesse at the table. I mean, that would be hard to argue. That
he is generally considered one of the top 3 straight pullers in the world. Probably.
Yeah.
And those perhaps a little bit soft.
So, for those of you relatively new to straight pull, or even if you're a little experienced, you will notice that every time a good player, players at this level, anytime that cue ball touches the rack for anything, any reason, before they shoot again, they're going to look at the rack to make sure there's not a dead ball or something that happened because they move those balls a little bit. So
Yeah.
they're always going to look it over first, and that's a good rule to follow.
Especially in this when you get in a little safety battle.
Yes. Right. You don't want to leave your opponent a dead ball that you miss seeing.
And that 3 ball just now, if you were paying real close attention, actually only just barely went in. And part of that because he was shooting jacked up over the cluster in the middle. Makes every shot harder. Studying the rack, perhaps the 9 ball is a break ball. It's a little bit low. Perhaps he develops a break ball out of the 13 and the 14 in the middle.
And
Or moves the 4 a little bit as well.
It's possible that the 10 ball is a combination that's on, so he doesn't have to be too particularly focused on breaking up the pattern that's the cluster that's in there because he's got a dead ball.
The 13, 14.
And I think the way he went around it tells me it's a pretty good combination to shoot at.
It looks a little high to me, like it's going to hit the side rail.
It's interesting that kind of the evolution in straight pull is in some ways the same kind of evolution in 9 ball, which is the thing that's become more and more scientific over time has been the break shots. So the thing that gives Shane a tremendous edge is the amount of time he puts into his 9 ball breaks and his 10 ball breaks. I mean, he's got the greatest break.
It's the biggest payoff for studying things.
So
he did go into those balls. I can't say he really improved.
So
anything.
He didn't have it.
Didn't really improve anything here.
No.
He's got a shot, but now I believe he almost definitely has to move those 2 balls unless he wants.
Yes, he does. You're right. He doesn't have an open pocket.
Well, and he probably wants to move it to create the break shot. He may leave the 12 there on the side rail while he creates the break shot. As a final fallback,
as his break shot, right? I mean,
I don't know.
When I was younger, which was a long time ago, that was a very popular break shot.
Yeah, it's not highly effective unless you perhaps study it more than I do. But I don't think he's even going to consider that one.
No, he's going to try.
He's going to come around here with an angle that he can bump. That's got to be just about perfect. I mean, he's going to make the 13, thin the 10 or whichever ball that is, and push the 4 out for a break shot and have 7 in the side as insurance.
Well, let me tell you a point of sort of interest. I probably had the opportunity to see Willie Mosconi play 20 times, and there wouldn't have been one game where he didn't use that as a break shot.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And back of the rack break shots. I mean, he wasn't anywhere near as obsessed about having a side of the rack break shot and spending all that time working to get one.
Well, I guess there Thorsten felt the 4 was too low. He tried to bump the straight ball out and missed the bump.
Right.
The only thing I sort of see now is that he plays this stripe and comes out and plays the 7 in the side, sort of 2 rails behind the rack.
Right. So
and this is not This comes up. This comes up, once every couple matches.
Well, there's a consequence to wanting that perfect break shot every time. I mean, you have to play to get it, and far be it for me to second guess Thorsten Hohmann or the way he's played this game, but he had an adequate break shot. He wasn't satisfied with it, so he can. This is a break shot too, of course. He can go around.
If he's really thin, he can actually just go one rail
Yes,
into the pack.
this
Now,
is a break
if it's
shot.
a little thicker, you can go two behind, and you won't splatter the rack, but you can create a shot.
So we'll see what he does here.
Certainly when you go one rail here, you do have a high chance of sort of
might
sticking
get
to the
ready.
pack.
Yes. If he-
I like the two rail, but if it's too thin, it just doesn't really work.
No, he has to hit the edge of either of the two ball. He doesn't want to hit in the middle of the pack.
Right.
He wants to hit on the side of the middle.
Right. Hitting the 5 here would be not particularly good. But we'll see. And based on where he's standing, he's kind of on the edge whether he can go one or two. I almost feel like he's going to go one. Come down here and hit maybe the 4 ball. Yeah, okay, that's what he's looking at. I think he's just going to go one, try to hit the 4.
We'll know when he strokes, right?
And he's going to be hitting it firmly.
Yeah, he's
Which,
he's letting Dennis shoot. And there we go. Round.
Okay,
And he
he-
missed it. He missed it. He
So-
tried to clip the corner.
this is not the end of the world, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
So you could go one or you could go two, but you could not go 1.5. Which is about where he ended up.
Yeah, no matter where he, right. It was a difficult shot from wherever he was, and he's playing a very precise game. He once told me that when he plays position, he plays to be within a half an inch of where he intends to
Where
be.
he's intended.
Yeah. So he was definitely trying to clip that corner ball and knock him out so he didn't get stuck. So we have Thorsten on one foul, closing the gap a little bit with
Yeah, I don't see Alex doing much but going 2 rails out of the corner and back right down where his right foot is. Okay, watching the wrong monitor again.
34.
Kind of want to
Thor-
get.
what did Thorsten want? Just 24 there. So Thorsten had a 24 ball run before he had to take a scratch, and now he's going to have to play safe. He'll probably come behind the rack here, I suspect.
Yeah, and you really want to leave this shot on the safety towards the center, because now you can see Thorsten can go 1 rail. If you get towards the center, you force a 2 rail shot. And there's an opportunity to get a rail
very
and
good
get
save.
safe.
Very good save.
And if you leave the guy, your opponent, the 2 railer behind the thing, you can't really try to get a ball to the rail. You sort of are taking the foul. So that was really a nice shot there by Thorsten. That one comes up a lot. It's worth practicing.
Because now Alec is on one scratch, and he has to shoot
Right.
away. So it's the fact
Right.
that
Now-
when that ball hits the rail and gives Thorsten a legitimate safe, it's a big deal.
Yeah. It doesn't turn the. You can see them laughing about it. It doesn't turn the tables completely because there are safety opportunities, but you put it directly into a safety battle, which
Yes.
between 2 top players, maybe 50-50 or
Yeah.
55-45. I don't know.
They're both great safety players.
It's hard to pick a favorite there, but you've taken yourself from 10% chance of getting the first shot to about 50-50 when you can make that shot Thorsten made.
Okay, so I don't think that's anything I would have tried, but Thorsten did it with no problem at all.
Yeah,
So he has
potentially this 4 ball in the upper left, but I mean, who really wants to shoot that?
I just think Alec. I mean, he's got a good safe. just rolling off the 10 and bringing the cue ball back to the bottom rail. It's not that difficult to say from there. He's over a ball, but he's kind of on the right angle for it. So I suspect that's what he's going to do. He's just going to put some top English.
Wow.
Well, that was a great shot. If he
hit that ball firmly.
Oh,
Instead of rolling,
that
he kind of
I mean,
stunned it. I wonder if he was trying to make the 10 hit the 7 and the 4 to take away those threats.
I mean, that was just a great shot. But if he's a fraction of an inch off, he leaves Thorsten the table. You know.
Well, I can't tell if Thorsten can make this 4 ball in the upper right. I mean, I'm sure he could be jacked up. He doesn't seem to be looking at it, so he must.
No, I don't think so. No,
He must
it's
be
close
behind the
though.
edge.
Yeah. We have a good camera angle, but it's not perfect, so we can't always see if it's if he can shoot through or not.
Wow. So he's just going to take a foul? We may be re-racking here.
Well, I don't think he's going to let out back at the table. Even if you're right, I think he's.
I think he'll take his chance with a break shot.
I don't know what to do.
Now, if he's looking at a dead ball, a kiss or something, he'll play it. I mean, I don't think he's going to.
Alex is
I thought
calling
you were going to go through.
the referee. This is a game changer moment. I'm not sure what he's looking at. Do you see what he's looking at?
It could just be a safety, and I think Alex is just asking him what he's going to do.
I think he played that strike ball back by the lower right corner.
Yeah.
This is where the delay will actually help us. We can watch this again, even in color. I think he's playing the 15. He's drawing off the 8 into the 1-3 15. Yes, he did.
Yes, he did. There you go.
Yes.
So that's the reason you look at the back. If you could find a shot like that.
If you have the vision.
If you have
It's
the
important
vision to
have the
find
vision.
a backward dead ball.
Don't forget to look for the backward
that
dead
kissed
ball.
off 2 other balls, then you should always be checking the
Do
rack.
not discount the backward dead ball.
Right, exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, it wasn't exactly like that shot was obvious. I was really expecting him to go forward, right? I mean,
And I think Alex waved off the ref when
Thorsten told him what he's
said,
doing, yeah.
I'm not jamming into these balls. I'm going to draw off the 8 because he had a clear path to the 8. So the odds of fouling there were back down to 0. And Alex was like, oh, I see what you're doing. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And could that be the shot that sends him off to the races?
Yeah. Well, and Thorsten is really known as a really good sportsman. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't really see him. I don't think in all the years I've been watching pool I've ever heard of a controversy involving him.
No, that was an interesting shot. Delicately floating into the middle here to solve this little problem with the 12-15 or the 14-15.
Wow. That dead ball was really quite a find in that situation.
And that's why you walk around the table, right? He must have walked around the table 2-3 times and maybe on one of those just happened to see, hey, wait a minute, that ball's dead over there if there's any way to get there. So this is nice. He's got the 5 ball as a break shot. He's got the 1 ball as perhaps a better break shot, a little lower and further away.
I do believe that Thorsten told me, and I can't remember if it was 14 or 17, that at 14 or 17 he won the German national championship.
Not the juniors, the national one.
Yeah, I think he'd already won the juniors. So, unlike the United States and a lot of other countries, the billiards is sponsored by the government, partially sponsored by the government.
This is a nice pattern here, real quick. It's going to shoot the stripe, play the ball on the side, and float down on the 7, and just roll right up onto the break shot.
Yes. Agreed. And here he does have the break shot he loves, so if he gets the right angle on that, I think...
May have left himself a little much angle here. Where he'll
I think he's
adjust
just
his
going
plan. Yeah, he's going to adjust his plan a little bit there.
Oh, I didn't...
And that
I didn't
just
care
came
for
out on
that
the
shot at all.
50-yard line. Came out on the 50-yard line.
Yeah, I don't...
Yeah, he had wanted less angle on the side, so he could just float to the left side of this table and play the 7 on the other side.
Right.
And roll up on the 1. He's you know...
Wow.
Clearly, you can make any ball on the table, but he's really left himself where he's going to go a couple of rails here. A couple or 3. His options.
I mean,
as you can
couldn't
see,
he have just drawn back and cut into the upper, our upper left, bottom left corner, and he'd been over there anyway?
I think he can. Oh, actually, at least he kept an angle.
Wow.
Well, that was
just.
I like the shot, but yeah, it was just, the second rail was the angle was just a little bit off, and he bumped it. Now,
yeah, I
it's
guess
not a great feature at this
that
point.
really surprised me that he tried to do so much with the cue ball to get position on the 8 ball.
Can you duck out and check the score? I think they each had a foul. Did Alice ever a foul on that?
Yes, they both.
I think it might be
both have.
might be 112. It might be 112 to 50. And maybe take a look at the other tables and see if any finished. Okay. No, we're going to 150.
I know. He's at 137. The table's open.
Oh, the table's open.
Yeah, the odds are all in his favor, I think.
The odds are
Dennis, I'm talking about.
The odds are forever in the favor of the person shooting.
At the table, especially when you're 137 already and the opponent's at 0.
Yeah, you're probably feeling pretty good.
Yeah, you're probably feeling pretty good.
Feel like there's not many balls you're going to.
Although they never let up at this level because they realize the next person can get up and run out. So I missed that break shot looking at the score, so I assume Thorsten hit it pretty good, even though it was not a classic or traditional break shot.
It's got some work to do, but when you have that kind of break shot, you're happy to be working.
Yes, I agree. Although he does have an open shot on the side, right?
Yeah, he's got that 8 in the side. He just needs to.
Yeah, he really wants to get that little 5-6 breaking up.
Yeah, he's got a couple problems, but on the right side, he's great.
Ran out.
Is that Dennis?
Definitely.
That was probably Dennis finishing up.
Dennis Orcolio with 150 and out against Alvin Ocean. Certainly both of them favorites. But I'm sure Alvin is disappointed not to get to the table and get a shot at it. So, but that's the game of pocket billiards.
Yeah, and Alvin's only loss was during round robin play. He played Thorsten in the same group, and Thorsten started out with an 84 ball run and just going to 100, and Alvin, I think, won a safety battle and ran 60, and then Thorsten ran out. So Alvin's only mistake was not running 100. He only ran 60,
Right.
and he needed 100 because you can't let the guy back to the table.
Yes.
So,
Well, Dennis is obviously playing pretty well. I think he had a 100-ball run last night.
yeah, he had a sort of an odd match with Niels Fyan. They played safe in the beginning of the match for 15 minutes or so. And then I think you're right. I think he went up 111 or so to 7, and then closed it out.
Well,
And this is okay. He's got break shot on the other side of the table as well. They're a little bit doubled up, so maybe he'll bump into one or play it. Play in the other pocket. Better idea.
so Thorsten is getting through the racks, but not quite as smoothly as usual. So we'll see if he, as he continues, if he is able to get in the high gear here.
And some score updates from Darren Frank. Looks like Conrad Juschason is up 99 to 76 now on Brandon Schuff. Kemko and Lee Van Corteza. Kemko's back at the table, 138 to 61. One rack away there. And yes, Orkoyo has just won. And now if I'm reading the notes here right, looks like Conrad probably won 150 to 76. So 2 of the matches are done. Conrad and Orkoyo move on, and they're awaiting their opponents in the Kemko Lee Van Corteza match, and then the one we're watching right here.
So Thorsten Hohmann has 64. And he's still at the table. And unless something quite unusual happens, it looks like he has a fairly open table. So that was very nicely done. He drew the cue ball to the side rail, make sure it wouldn't scratch, and open the rack. And the only thing it looks like that's tied up is the 11 and the 1. Now whether either of those is on as a combination, I can't tell from my end.
I think the 11-12 maybe that is. I think they both go in the lower right pocket.
So he's gonna.
So that's fine. And that that looks like where he's put himself.
So it's
The first shot.
It's an interesting choice of shots, considering their ball's hanging, compared to this shot.
Well,
but he's not worried about pocketing balls, obviously.
Solve that problem. The 1-2 is definitely not on and needs to be moved. Oh, and after all that, he didn't bother taking the stretch.
No, and
You know what? He may want to bump the other one across to a break shot, so he's going to wait for another opportunity to do it. We'll see, but it's a nice pattern he's on here. He's going to be able to get this.
He's
Either
really
the 2
one
balls
of
down table or the ball off the rail.
Because he has such a powerful break. It's often hard to tell what his pattern is. So he really is quite, I guess, creative at the game, being one of the, if not the first, one of the first to use a power break on a regular basis. So, well, I guess it's pretty clear what he's doing here. He's cleaning the balls off the rails,
He moved his 15, which was just sort of a little high and far away. He basically bumped it forward into a better break shot. And I think you'll probably see him play the 5 here and roll up into the 2, solve that problem.
He's
Very nice.
keeps winning it in a perfect position. You know, he's got the finesse to keep doing that. It's just remarkable how good these players are.
I mean, he'll probably play the 1, keep himself an angle on the 9 so he can go up on either the 11 or the.
Yeah, he's perfectly happy now with. I think he would have rather shot the 1 at this point, but I don't think he's overly concerned about it.
I think he's perhaps a little straight here on the 9, but we'll see if he can go 2 rails up on those 2 stripes together.
Now all the pockets are open except
Break balls, got a key ball. Yeah, I just like.
I would suspect he's going to come behind the 13 and 10 now and shoot one of them, and then he's got it completely open.
Yeah, but I think the problem is that he might be too straight on this 9.
Unless one of them goes in the side pocket very easily, he might do that. Let's see.
He's
drawing it.
okay.
So
Basically, he figured because he's straight and he doesn't want to bump his break ball, he said, I just need to get on a shot here. And he looked at the stripe up table a little bit and decided he didn't like that. So he drew back onto this key ball, which is not it's not the end of the world to use something else to keep his run going.
well, it also, I'd be very surprised if the 11 ball wasn't dead, because he's not concerned at all about it. So
No, I think it's not. I think he's going to try to get to the left side of the table here so he can play one of the balls, the 12 ball probably down into
right.
the lower right.
he's sure waiting.
Here it is.
Waiting a while.
No, I think he would have liked coming across.
He came
a
up
lot.
short.
Yeah,
Which
now
is,
you got pumping.
Yeah,
And he
now
may
he's
even
got a
opt
bump.
for the 11 just so everything is a little more predictable. Slightly harder shot, but at least you know where your cue ball's going. Well, maybe not. Looks like he probably just
That was a great shot,
figured
though.
out the bump and
That was a great shot,
and the
yeah.
cue ball.
Yeah, that's being able to control 2 balls, the ball you hit and the ball you want to bump forward, and to give yourself position is really a very advanced level of
Yeah, anytime you're
billiard play.
playing shape on the ball you're bumping, you better have it figured out.
You better.
Especially when there's no other
Right.
balls on the table.
Yeah.
Shoot it.
You need some pretty high level skills to be able to do that on a regular basis, and he sure didn't seem to be concerned about it.
Yeah. So that mountain he was looking at before, of 113 to 100 ball mountain, is now he's halfway up the mountain.
See 78.
It doesn't seem so bad. Now he was probably thinking the mountain didn't seem so bad all along.
Well, I think he feels if he's at the table, as maybe Alex would, or any of the players in the final 8 here, that they can run out. I mean, they want a shot to run out.
I think someone mentioned on the chat a little while ago that Alex was up 142 to 7 or something on Thorsten not long ago, and Thorsten ran 143 and out.
So that's the
perhaps
famous.
That's the thought in his mind is that, well, it's just like that other time.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the break shot he just made is the classic Thorsten break shot where he clobbers the balls and draws the cue ball all the way down the table. Now, the danger there is he actually did that in the World Championships, I believe it was, scratched in the corner and lost the match. No, it was in this match. He did it against Tom Walter in the first match.
Oh, yes.
And Tom Walter ran out on him. Yeah.
Thorsten did have a loss in the round-robin play to
Tom
Walter, a seasoned player from New York.
Yes, and it was exactly on that. Now, those matches are shorter. They're 100 points in the round-robin part. So, but he did play that same break shot the same way, and the cue ball scratched, and Tom Walter ran out on him.
hope you're ready for a lot of pool today. Because with this comeback, I believe we are behind schedule already.
Yeah, we are. Yeah.
As it's 1 o'clock, which I think was when the next first semifinal was maybe supposed to kick off.
Yeah. This is classic pool scheduling. If you're within 2 hours at a time, you say the match is going to go off, you're on schedule.
By the time we reach the final, they may be willing to flip a coin. We'll talk them out of it, but
yeah. And actually, a lot of the players are, even these 8 are, if they're no longer in competition, they're anxious to get out of here because they want to get down to Virginia for the US Open 9-ball tournament.
Certainly, all 8 of these players are headed to the US Open.
Well, you would expect, Andy, I guess you would agree, that at this stage of the tournament, you would expect the final 8 players to be in stroke.
Yeah.
Or they wouldn't be at this stage of the tournament.
Right.
So they're all, in stroke, and I'm sure Alvin is quite disappointed not to have any chance.
Sounds like he didn't have
any chance to win the match. I mean, it may have been a perfect game for Dennis.
I think there was at least one safety battle.
Yeah, okay.
Probably to start the match, but I don't know that there was any other. There may have been a safety battle halfway through. I'm not really sure. But in any case, Dennis looks like he gave him no opportunities no matter which way you look at it. So he's still got these 4 balls in the middle here. Looks like shoot the 8 and go right on into them now, and or is that the 4? Shoot the 8, and then maybe the 4 is somewhat of insurance, but don't really need perfect insurance on when you got 5 balls on the table, 6 balls on the table. So he did have that 4 ball on his mind. So it looks like 7 is a good break shot. And yeah, the two is probably a little high. So.
Does the 6? No, I guess not. I guess he.
Yeah, this.
Well, he wants to open
the
this
4 ball. He's just using to open up the pot. So that's a nice shot. Now he moved the cue ball a lot, but he was very confident that he was going to be on the line of the 2 quite a bit at the end.
Yeah.
He made sure he came across that line to make sure that he wasn't running into these balls, and now he can just stop and make them.
Yeah, he's in good shape here.
And he'll pay attention to his angle on the 6 here so that he can drift out to the middle of the table for his break shot on the 7. See how he drifted across the line of the 6 there. Now he can just stun or go one rail, probably one rail, whatever's easiest. Okay. Nicely done. And
so you'll notice when he can, Thorsten tries to get the cue ball in the middle of the side pockets, in the whatever I mean, in line with the opening of the side pocket.
Yeah.
And a lot of that has to do with his height.
Sure.
Because he doesn't want to stretch for anything. He wants to be able to take a full stroke.
Right. And if you're Alex,
he has to
maybe sometimes leave yourself either longer or more ideally, maybe just a little more cut so that you can reach it from the side of the table, where Thorsten's shooting this shot from the end. And if you're a tall player like Dennis Grabe or some of these other guys that are 6'2" and 6'3", you know, you can bring this ball 3 or 4 inches closer and still feel very comfortable on your break shot.
Oh my, as they say. Unless he has a shot.
Well, it looks like he has a shot in the side here. Is that the one ball maybe?
So he draws this ball back to the side rail, which is, I really love the action when they do that, and he doesn't really get a terrific break out of as good as he hit it. He didn't get a terrific break out of
It
it.
rolled right back into the pack. He does have this one.
So he won't do anything fancy there except make it and leave himself a shot on the 15 ball.
Yeah, the 11 probably. He's got a couple opportunities.
Oh, he can make the 11.
I think he can make the 11, which
Oh,
would be
okay.
ideal. Now, if he can't comfortably make the 11, it is very close to that 10 or 14. But he's definitely looks like he's addressed. Maybe it is close.
Yeah.
The problem with the 15 is that it's a long.
You're right. I mean, he would definitely want to shoot this ball if he can make it, because that opens up the pocket. Oh no, what happened?
Did he just point at his head like, what did I just do?
I think so. Yeah, I think he did.
Oh, wait.
He ended up doing what he wanted to do.
We'll use our delay and see if he was like,
He must have bumped
don't forget to think. No, I think he just hit it way harder than he did.
He
bumped
skinned the 14, yeah. Actually, then the 11 didn't go cleanly.
Yep. He's pointing at his head like, hey, come on, Thorsten, think.
Yeah, he didn't go cleanly, so that's...
And that probably changed the cue ball enough to make it roll much further than he thought.
Yeah, he's going to have to sock it, come down here, and hopefully
play
get
four
it.
rail position there.
Right, on one ball.
Why not?
That's all he had.
And he's perfect. He can play this 5, pop out a little bit on the 3, and then go into these balls. Not really sure this 2-ball cluster has any promise. It's probably going to need to either move it or get real accurate position on the other side of them.
So, we've got quite a show going here, actually. 1, 2 terrific high runs on a pretty tough diamond table here. Take this out now.
Yeah, I like playing, probably the 14 here. It's going to go forward. Okay.
Yeah, he may want to shoot the 15.
Oh, yeah. Bumping the ball you're playing position on.
Always a risky proposition.
Well,
but
it came out poorly.
Yeah.
It looks like he's awfully straight. It is possible. There's a little angle there. You can come right back by his hand, 2 rails out of the corner.
Well, he's got 2 relatively straight in shots. He would either one of those would have been fairly straight in, but now he has the sides. It looks like.
Yeah, I almost feel like he's going to
shoot the
get on the 13 to a point where he can bump the 12 a little better.
Well, he's got something in mind. He may be leaving the...
I like it. He's going to play the 16, drift up on the 13, where he can roll down, bump the 12 closer to the rack, and be sitting staring at the 2-ball.
Isn't that the 2 he's shooting?
All right. Well, he's probably got a better plan.
I think he's going to have to.
I think maybe he'll just play the 12 from where it is.
Yeah, I think he's going to have to.
It's not that bad.
Use a lot of English
It's a little high.
to break. Yeah, but he'll come out. So, yeah, he'll just draw. He'll just have to sort of pound the break shot because he'll be a little bit. He'll be a little bit high on the rack.
Nice there.
So, 106 to 112. What a game! when we started commentating 2.5 hours ago, I didn't, you never know what to look for, but it really doesn't get much better than this. Virtually 200 ball runs in the same game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think where Thorsten started here.
He started at 13, didn't he?
They played.
Yeah, he started
safe.
at 13.
They played safe somewhere here. He actually took a foul back at 36.
Yeah,
so
he may start at 11.
He's gone 36, 50, 64, 78, 92, 106. So he's on a 70 ball, exactly 5-rack run right now.
Oh, you're right. He had to run and then he had to play safe. Right. That's right.
My memory's not that good. I'm reading.
No, you're right.
Reading my
You're
notes.
right. Yeah, you're definitely right. Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, I suspect he's going to hit these. Whatever he uses for, he's probably going to use the 11 ball for a break shot to go back into the rack.
Yeah, it would not surprise me if he's doing that right now.
And he's gonna hit this pretty hard.
Looks like he'll come right into the 5.
Well, actually, didn't he finesse?
That was nice
it?
and controlled.
Yeah, he did. He finessed that. Yeah.
Now he can kind of pick and choose and get balls out of here. Anytime you got that first shot after you go in there, you got to feel like, well, I'm still in control here. So that was a nice break shot. Sneak this 6 out the back, try to start opening these pockets. Actually developed the break shot right there as well. That's a nice shot. Tight, small position, just kind of accurately hitting these shots in traffic, clearing up the traffic jam, so to speak.
Yeah, over the years, Germany's produced some great straight pull players. Oliver Ortman, who was inducted into the Hall of Fame.
He sort of started it all.
Yeah.
Him and Thomas Enkert. Is that the name?
Yes. Yes, exactly.
And then Ralph Eckert.
Yeah.
Ralph's K.
All right.
And there's a young guy now. We're trying to get over to this tournament. Joshua Filler. I think his name is Joshua Filler.
Actually, to a person, they're all very good sportsmen. I mean, they're.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they sort of teach and coach that a little bit too. This is how we're going to represent. Since we're the German government,
right.
We're
if we lose,
sponsoring this. This is what we'd like to see. And you're right. They're all.
Yeah. If we lose, we're gracious and we don't throw pool sticks and storm out of the venues and so forth.
Right.
And I'm not being critical because that's pretty much how I take losses.
Right. I sulk in a corner.
Yeah.
I throw my stick down and hope I don't ruin it.
But the other point about that, Andy, is at this level, if they take a loss and they're going to go to the next tournament, they have to get it out of their mind.
Better let it go.
Yeah, they have to let it go.
Hard to make money when you keep that.
You just have to let it
You
go.
to the next tournament. So now we're 30 balls away. So we will need a couple balls into the third rack, not to get ahead of ourselves here, but 184 ball run.
So I presume he's looking at what English, he's thinking about what English he wants to use, and we're concerned about if he'll scratch or not, depending on what he does. So we'll see here. So he actually, the reason he drew it to the side rail was to avoid a scratch, and he really does have a lot of control when he does that. I mean, he's great at it.
Like you said, he's really reading very accurately where he's hitting the first ball in the pack to determine whether he's going to put a little follow. Like he put a little follow on that to keep it from going down table, because he couldn't do his classic draw it all the way down and back out. And my guess is he recognized that by reading how he was going to contact the stack.
So back to the point we were talking about a few minutes ago, I did have a chance one time to ask Mike Sigel, who was then the reigning straight pool world champion, how does he put a miss out of his mind? Because it was certainly something I could never do. And he said, well, first he said, you could be back at the table 10 seconds after you miss. So he said, if you get yourself all flustered over it
for 5-10 minutes, that's not good.
He said, and he said, if you can't put it out of your mind, he said, you're never going to play at this level.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure. Easier said than done.
Yes, I agree. I mean, you have to be really sort of tournament tough and seasoned and have that, really have that ability. I read 20 books on the psychology of pool, and I still never developed that ability. So
that was nice to pull that fire out of there without
really working his way through these racks and all.
I would not be surprised to see him bump the 3 out a little further.
Yeah. Now he's straight. Now he's got to open the ball up here, and then he's got.
Or he doesn't need to worry about the 3. He can use the 9 as a break shot. Shoot the 6 now, and it'll suddenly look clear.
Yeah, I think he's. Yes, once he gets rid of this ball, he really has a wide open table.
You start to see how easy it is.
How easy it is.
I mean, it's.
Yeah, I get you. I understand.
Usually, when I'm on an 84 ball run, going into 90, I'm usually very relaxed.
Yeah.
Well, at least the one time I was there.
Yeah, the one time he did it. Yeah. In all my years, I had one run over 100. I had a 107 ball run.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I had 108. That's the only time I've been over 100, and I pretty much fluked my whole way there. Took a couple of long flyers, and they all worked out. And next thing I know, I was past my 70 barrier.
Yeah, I figured out at a pretty young age that I didn't have this kind of talent. I wasn't bad at the game. I just realized I didn't have this kind of talent. And there really weren't any of the instructional tools that are available today. I mean,
like this video.
Yeah, the videos and the tapes that are out that teach you the game, and these players, then a lot of their tapes and so forth are just outstanding learning tools that weren't available then. We had a few books that were good, the 99 Critical Shots of Pool and Ray Martin's book, but nothing like what's available on the internet today, or even YouTube.
And even Facebook Live.
With
our 827 watchers currently tuned in.
Yes. And we appreciate your attendance in the global world that we live in. So he'll draw this, got a perfect break shot, and he is at 134. You have to say if this rack opens up for him, he's a huge favorite to win the match.
Right. Well, he's going to need, let's see, 2 balls into the next rack. And he's on a 98 ball run by my count.
So so everything will really depend on whether this rack is open for him. If it's open for him, then he becomes an overwhelming favorite to finish the match out. So he's again looking at how he wants to hit the cue ball into the rack, what ball the cue ball is going to hit when it hits the rack, and what kind of English he wants to put on the cue ball. So he's actually probably not thinking that much about pocketing the ball because he's not worried about pocketing the ball. He knows he's going to pocket the ball. And look how he hit that. Look how he hit that ball. It's amazing. It is amazing, Peter. Yeah, right around. And they took a few 36. Because
he's on 99 right now, and this is
199.
And more importantly, he's got a spread and 2 balls
he's
into the next rack.
Really looking for him to win the match at this point. Yeah.
Peter, have you lined up a couple commentators for the next match? We will have another match right after this one. I'm not sure which one it is, but it'll be a powerful match for sure.
Yeah. Hey, if he's in the final, I want to do it. I'll tell Peter that too.
My guess is it'll be the other semifinal, since Thorsten will just be coming off of the match. So it will probably check with Megan.
Yeah, I think 2 of them will and 2 of them won't, right?
Right. I'm not sure.
Sure which ones are what. Yeah.
We may use seating.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how that.
I understand
if
that.
Thorsten wins here, it is possible he will be right back up in the next 15 minutes or so.
Wow. Right?
Yeah, and I think it's because he scratched on that one shot against Tom Walters back in round robin.
Oh, really?
Because he ended up losing the match, so the other side may be the higher seed.
Yes, that was his first match.
You don't think the round robin counts?
Oh, no, it's like, I mean, personally, I really like that format.
I do too. It can be a lot of playing. And honestly, if we didn't stagger the semifinals, he would have been playing anyway. So, it's just, he's ready to play all day.
Yeah, and I mean, it turns out there were so many great players. You can't say it didn't turn out the way it.
Right.
Everybody who made it through was a great player.
Yeah, we had.
There aren't any slouches out there.
Had you looked at the chart, you can tell we severely underrated Conrad Schujason. He was not in the top half in the initial seeding, and he's proved us all completely wrong.
Well,
and then Brandon Schuff, had a great showing, so he was perhaps underseeded as well. But certainly all the others were no surprises to us, and no surprises probably to the people more knowledgeable about their skill play.
Well, and 3/4 of the people who got knocked out of the tournament are capable of winning this tournament. Under different circumstances. So it is the only sport where you can be great and never get a shot, and you're out of it, and
Albin.
The next time it just turns around.
Albin Ocean, was playing like he could win the tournament, and then apparently just didn't get anything to shoot at in the match.
Yes, I thought actually.
I would love to hear what happened in there, whether he had a bad safety or, sometimes the safety is just 50-50 and someone is going to crack. Or sometimes you just make a blatant mistake and the guy makes a nice shot, and maybe that was the only thing you did wrong, is that, your safety wasn't good enough.
Well, he's an extraordinarily aggressive player. I mean,
yes.
If he has a shot at all, he's taking it.
Yeah.
So
Generally, he's just so comfortable that
yeah,
he's a perfect line and not having to take tough shots.
Yes, he's a great player. But I saw him play a break shot where he had to make the cue ball go 3 rails and go behind the rack and hit a ball that was dead from behind the rack. But, you know, that's not a shot. You know, you're going to see too many people play.
Yeah.
Because if he's an eighth of an inch off, he's going to splatter the rack all over the table and not even move the ball he's aiming at. So, anyway.
So Thorsten's, I guess, likely to be using the 10 here as the break shot.
Well, yeah, what does he need beyond this? 2?
He does need 2, so he doesn't need like a fantastic
Assuming
splatter
he gets
open
out
the
from
rack.
here. So he has the, I didn't see the 3 ball. So
Yeah, he's shooting the 11 ball on the upper left.
yeah, he's thinking about
although
whether he
changes
wants
his
to.
mind a little bit.
He's thinking about really if he wants to shoot the 2 here, and I
Just feels a little bit long to be shooting that.
I know I'm shooting the 11 if
You
I'm
shooting the hanger.
Yeah,
Get
if
your
I'm
duck-
in this position, yeah,
get
there's
your
no
ducks
way
in a
I'm
row, so
shooting
to speak.
the long shot down the table.
Get your ducks in a row.
So he may be thinking about where he wants to go from here too, because he knows he's got to clear the 2 out. So he may be thinking this is the best time to do it. And he's an extremely fast player, so the fact that he's taking all this time is he has something on his mind actually.
He's gonna play the okay. Play the you saw the little body language there with the arms going down, like really, I got straight.
Yeah.
And then the immediate recognition of,
He's
well,
good-
that's
he's-
not really so
Yeah, he's in
bad
good
now,
shape.
is it?
Yeah, he's definitely. You know, I always wonder about what they're thinking about at this level of the game and the pressure that's on him. I mean,
Well,
he knows if he misses from here, you know. But I guess they're used to it. So he's cracked a little smile there, uncharacteristic of
So he only needs,
Thorsten.
I have it all figured out, only needs 1 into the next round, huh? Or the break ball and 1. That's
So-
right. That is right. It's a break ball and 1.
So he is at 140,
48.
148, needing 2 balls. Alex Pagalyan, who made a run over for 100, I'm sure if Thorsten gets these 2, will be pretty disappointed with the outcome.
Yeah, it doesn't really feel right to run 100 in a match and not win, does
Yeah,
it?
no.
But that's just how high level
right,
this is.
That's what you're watching. I mean, these really are.
I guess you can judge a match by how many mistakes are made versus how much you run. And there it is. Quite nice. Quite nice. So that was a 114 and out
Wow.
for Thorsten Hohmann.
Just a beautiful match. I don't know that I've actually ever seen a match that was.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
I think that was probably the best match I've seen. And I think the run that Thorsten made, I mean, if you think about the run from 36, we didn't see one thing out of line. I mean, he was not out of line. Just terrific display of how good he is, actually.
All right, Michael Frank.
Well, we're signing off here for a while.
This is Andy Lincoln. Don't go too far because we'll likely have a match back up in the next, certainly within 15 minutes, if not sooner.
Yeah, they'll probably start it in 2, I would guess. I
think they're going to start it as soon as the.
Well, if it's Thorsten who's right back, they're probably going to start it at 2.
Yeah, if it's the other semifinal,
They'll start it
they've
in
been
a few
waiting.
minutes.
They'll
Yeah.
start in a few minutes. Don't go far. All right. Enjoy.